Hello everyone. Today we're going to be taking a tour of Dyco Inc. before our lean journey and transformation takes hold. This way we can highlight the waste that we had to start and how far we've come along our journey. We'll start our tour in Building 8, our detached warehouse, where all of our incoming raw material and components that we use to manufacture our goods are checked in and stored. Here you can see a massive overflow of inventory because we source them from overseas. For the component items, we have to buy them in bulk, which means we have to store them. We also have these boxes here that are finished goods that haven't sold in over 30 years. More nuts stored here and some spare machinery and items. Here we check in our raw material and incoming goods at these scales to then move into the racks. We have a large amount of dunnage or packaging up there in the top of the racks, and all of these racks for our boxing department, a massive overflow of inventory that should be Kanban'd and controlled. More raw material in these racks. Any raw material that you see sitting on the floor has been staged to go to our production plant across the street. More used machinery and raw material up there that are used for maintaining what we have or swapping out. Now we're going to move into Building 7, the start of our production. So raw material would flow into this building to the rest of the plant. Here we have some S3F 4-slide machines that are used to produce our larger components and larger cage nuts. Here in these drums we have products stored waiting to go to heat treat or have been finished heat treat and waiting to go out for a secondary finishing operation. Rounding the corner, we'll go into Building 6, our main value-added area, our 4-slide production facility. Here we have 44 4-slide machines. As you can see, it looks organized into rows, but looks can be deceiving. It's very cluttered, and we can free up a lot of space to provide easier value and less travel time in between. Here's a running S1F 4-slide machine producing one of our U-nut products. I'm going to take you in for a closer look. You can see the progressive stamping die oriented horizontally, which after the progression is completed, it goes into the front, back, side tools to perform the forming and bending of our product. I'm going to take you in for a closer look again. This is the main operation of our facility. Now we're moving into our tool room where all the support for our production is. You can see all of our surface grinders, bridge ports, and all the dies stored on this table ready to go out to production. Here you can see them staged. These dies are ready and waiting to go out to the setup operators to be put into the machine. Now we're walking through the storage of our tooling and progressive dies. All of the tooling pans are labeled with the jobs that they are for in numeric order on these racks. When a job sheet goes out to the tool room, these are pulled, inspected, repaired, sharpened, and made ready to go out to the floor. Here are the progressive dies in storage marked with the job they are loaded with and also any other job that these dies can be used for. In these blue, yellow, and red bins are components for the tooling, the dies themselves rather, and any machine repair items. And around this shelf you will see more maintenance items for the machines, some larger components that we keep on hand if anything were to happen to repair those machines. These couple pictures are just going to highlight some waste, some used equipment, and the mess that we have right outside the tooling and production office. Moving through into heat treat. So now we are in our heat treating department with a lot of racks that store product in drums and bins that have been heat treated or are awaiting heat treat process to be completed. After they've been completed in heat treat, it will go out to secondary process. We have 3 heat treaters. This one you're seeing right now has not been in operation since installation, We need to find a different way to run and operate this for our product or get rid of it altogether. These two heat treaters towards the wall are our main heat treaters that we use every day, and this process is the bottleneck of our operation. The product goes from the heat treater into a salt quench, a molten salt quench. From that conveyor, it goes into a cold or warm rinse for tempering, up this conveyor and into this rampart, as some would call it, to have a soluble oil finish applied to it to prevent corrosion. Here is our salt spray lab. We use this salt spray tester to get a reference point and baseline for finishes. This picture is our heat treat desk and testing center. So we have a hardness tester and all of our binders with the different notes on each product. Here is our Fastener Industries communication board for all of our employee owners on how the corporation is doing financially, very transparent in any company news or events. Now we're moving into the maintenance area of our factory. Here you will see some of the most clutter. This area is in dire need of 3S'ing. Just wanted to highlight how it is now before our transformation takes hold. This is my biggest challenge, I think, in 3S'ing of our factory. Here's a small fabrication area, some welding curtains, welders, pipe threaders, saws, some pipe fittings stored in these bins here, and some other components. Now we're going to walk through the door into our warehouse and packaging area, so you can see everything in boxes up on the shelves are finished goods waiting to be picked for orders or just stock. A lot more inventory than what I'd like to see. So this is something we'll be working on very soon. We are a manufacturer with manufacturer direct sales. We are not a distributor, so we should not be holding our product. Anything that's in boxes on a skid on the ground are picked for orders to go out this week. Anything in a steel bin right here is slated to go out for secondary operation to our vendors for plating or different heat treat applications that we can't do internally, that is. Here is our boxing operation, very manual, very menial task right now. And here are some boxes for product that we send out for assembly, just cluttered. Here is our shipping office and desk. Now we're rounding the corner into building 1, where our paint lines, paint dryers, and zinc phosphate and oil plating line is located. Here's the dip bin for the paints. And here are the drying ovens for painted product. Some more product staged for secondary in the way. Hard to get a tow motor through, hard to walk around. And here is all of the equipment related to our zinc phosphate line. This zinc phosphate line is not utilized like it used to be, so we are planning on getting rid of this equipment as we outsource 90% of this work now. Thank you all for walking through our factory and seeing before our lean transformation takes hold. Again, this is Dyco Inc. Thank you.